Hi guys, happy Wednesday. I'm a little behind on my live this week, in part because we've got all of this stuff for Kilimanjaro. Um, uh, it is unbelievable how much shopping we have done. Like, I'm not a shopping girl, but we've shopped till we dropped this week. Also, something else that I'm excited about, I'm changing formats for these lives. So I want to focus on giving you shorter lives and then also adding a link to a new blog for you. So you can find the link to the blog in the description of this video. That way we can keep this bite-sized, easy for you to listen to. And if you want more details, more links, more information, click on the blog. It'll take you to a written version with links to the tools I like, things of that nature. So anyways, this is time for the weekly live, and we're keeping it short. So the thing we talk about this week is why writing is hard. Why is it hard? I struggle with this all the time as a writer, obviously. So why is it hard? And then I have 7 real life tools and tricks that I use in my business to make it easier. So I want to share those with you to help you understand that you're not crazy, you're not weird if writing is hard for you. It's just literally how we're built, and there's lots that goes into it. So when I was 2 years ago, in June of 2019, I moved here to Israel. And in July, I started taking Hebrew lessons, 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. All I did was sit in a chair, take notes, and talk to people. I wasn't, running marathons during classes or anything like that. But the first month I was in those Hebrew classes, I came home exhausted. Like, I literally would come home and sleep for 2 hours. I was whipped. I was so whipped. I actually lost weight during that period. So the question I want you to ask is, how could a stationary activity wear me out so much? And this is where I want to tie it into writing. How can learning a language sitting in a chair exhaust me and help me lose weight, honestly, when I'm not moving? What's the deal there? It's attached to writing. So the reason why writing is hard has different levels. And I'll go through the 3 things real quick. Your mental activity, it actually consumes physical resources in your body. So you got a whole big body. 20% of it just goes right up here in your noggin when it comes to your oxygen usage. That's a lot. So your brain is a greedy monster. It's eating stuff up. And do you know, when you're thinking and doing higher level analytical work, your brain is burning glucose? That's crazy. And here's the thing. The more you think, the more your brain uses glucose. And the more your brain uses glucose, the more it turns it into this thing called ATP. And guess what? This blocks dopamine and lowers your level of motivation. So you see how this mental task that feels so strange, how could it be something that consumes energy, things like that? This mental task, it is an exertion. It is difficult. It actually has a chemical reaction in our bodies and has a physical effect on us. So writing sets off that consumption. Not only that, stress from mental activities, it translates into physical stress responses. Again, there's a mind-body relationship here that's really interesting. There's this guy, Dr. Stephen Feinsilver. He's the director of sleep medicine at Lenox Hill Hospital. You can read more about it in the blog. The human body reacts to stress in many of the same ways, regardless whether the source is mental, like a difficult math problem, or physical, like running. Your heart will pump, you'll produce adrenaline, something like that. And coming from that Hebrew class, I can tell you that I was stressed out. My stress levels were high. So my body was acting like I was running away from a bear, whatever. And so it took this physical toll on me. Writing triggers the same kinds of things. It has a physical stress response. So that's part of why it's hard. And it's not only that. We evolved over time to try and seek out the things that are the most familiar, the safest, that we understand the best. This is for a lot of reasons. One, it's easier. When we do new things, our brain has to create new pathways. Think about when you drive to work. You don't even think about it anymore because your brain has already mapped out the progress. But if you drive a new route, if you drive to a new place, you drive to a new job, all of a sudden that commute becomes a lot more work, because creating new information rather than just using the same old information, those old automations, it puts a bigger drain on your brain. Your brain wants to save energy, so it wants to avoid the new stuff. New stuff isn't safe, and also creating stuff is vulnerable, so it makes sense that our body fights us on this. It's an obstacle. Our brain doesn't want us to to take chances, wants us to stay safe. So our body fights us. It's actually a physical thing. We have these wirings that make writing difficult. You're not crazy, it's just how we are. And that's why. Okay, so now that you have an idea of those roadblocks, you know that you're not crazy. I want to get into the 7 things that really help me when it comes to getting past these blocks. Because no matter how experienced of a writer you are, you deal with these blocks. You deal with this fatigue. You deal with the difficulty of pushing through. So the first one, again, I got 7. Number 1, templates and formulas. If you haven't heard of copywriting formulas, I have a link in the blog to an excellent buffer blog, and it gives you examples and templates, like more than a dozen ideas for how to structure a post in a strategic way. It's a really good starting point when you're just busted broke for ideas. It's really good. So templates and formulas, they're a great starting point, which is why I have the social media content, why I have templates, because I know how hard it is to start from scratch. So I help you start. See where it is? Okay, so number 2, I have these writer's block exercises. Basically, the point of them is, if you can do something stupid while writing to make you laugh, you're gonna be okay. So I'll write a shitty first draft full of a ton of swear words. I will use a timer on Squibbler, which if you stop typing, it will delete everything. You'll lose it all, so there's a pressure to keep writing, and it'll help you just purge going through those crappy run-on sentences. I'll even write a stupid poem, a rap, whatever. As long as I'm writing and I can make myself laugh, fantastic. I'm winning, I've lowered the pressure, and I can get back into it. It busts the writer's block. So make yourself laugh with little stupid writing exercises. So number 3, the way to make it easier, gotta say it, practice daily. Again, writing is a mental exercise just like running is a physical exercise. If you run every day, running is easier. If you write every day, writing is easier. Even if you don't like it that much, journal for 15 minutes, use a pen, type something into your phone. An app I like to use is I think called One Day. Just put yourself in that place, cross that bridge, keep that, like warmed up. So just practice daily. Number 4, get physical. Okay, so when I'm brainstorming, I look like a lunatic. I have a little plastic ball. It's in the other room, or else I would show it to you. And I just bounce it off the walls. I move around. I sit. I kind of I feel better when my body is moving. It feels, I don't like sitting still for too long. So again, like we said, there's a big connection between your brain and your body. So bring the 2 together. Take care of your body, because that'll help take care of your mind. Eat a snack. Remember, you're burning glucose when you're thinking, man. You gotta feed the brain, right? Drink water. Your brain really needs water too. Go for a walk. Sometimes I'll pick flowers on the walk just for something that's not black and white text in front of me. Even take a 10-minute nap. I know that sounds weird, but if I've been brainstorming for an hour, my brain just needs a few minutes to just shut down and process things. So take a 10-minute nap. And then number 5, you kind of have to understand and accept the process. And baseball is a good analogy here. So writing is like baseball. You can't just skip to home base, okay? You and everyone else, you got to start at first base, go to second, third, and fourth. You just got to go through the process. And the sooner you're able to accept that, the easier it will be, because you can set up your expectations. Like, oh, I'm on this base, I'm at this area. So the 4 bases in writing, going with the baseball analogy, are brainstorming. That's where I'm throwing the ball against the wall like a crazy person. Drafting, so you're kind of outlining it, putting the ideas on paper. Writing, this is the hardest one for me, where it's actually trying to get it to gel. And then editing, making sure it all flows and sounds good afterwards. You gotta hit all the bases, and knowing that will help making running the bases easier. So another one, this is my favorite, use the side door. I know that's weird, but the example I have is, okay, writing sometimes is hard for me to jump right into. It has all this pressure of being my livelihood, right? So what I have found is, well, I love the watercolor paint. It's another creative practice, another hobby of mine that puts me in a good state, a good creativity flow. So what I found is that if I paint first for 30 minutes or more, I get into a flow much easier. I don't make money from writing. I do it for my own pleasure. It's got way less pressure. So I paint for 30 minutes, and then I kind of hijack that creative flow and bring that into writing. So I kind of sidestep all of the nonsense in the beginning, where I'm just worrying about making money and dealing with the crappy first drafts, all of that nonsense. I get to sidestep it. I get the creative flow in a fun way from my painting, and then just bring that flow right into writing. I guarantee it'll make things so much easier and more pleasurable. It really will. So, whatever whatever your hobby is, something else creative that you do, maybe even something as simple as like like maybe chopping a salad, creating a meal, um, whatever it is, find a hobby that you like. You get the endorphins going, get the creative juices flowing, and then come in the side door. It's a lot easier than trying to go in through the front door with writing sometimes. And then 7, this is a really good one for me. It's a more recent finding for me. Ernest Hemingway is known for this terrible quote. There's nothing to writing. All you do is sit down at a typewriter and bleed. Other writers have said you open a vein, you fight, and there's this this whole stereotype of writing makes you miserable, writing makes you a drunk, blah, blah, all this terrible stuff. That sounds awful. I don't want to have to be in a battle every freaking day with writing. And I actually came across this other image of it through Liz Gilbert, and actually put a post-it note above my desk recently to help remind me to treat writing like a birth and not a battle. So the way she says it, I really, really like it. So instead of feeling like writing is your adversary, you have to fight and drag, and treating it like an enemy that you have to take down in a fight, think of it more as a birth. You're working together with something. Again, birth is not an easy thing, but it's a very different perspective than fighting against an enemy. So here's how she says it. I elect to believe that the work wants to be born, that whatever you're writing wants to be born, and moreover that it wants to be born through me. And if the process feels difficult at times, this is only because the two of us, me and the unborn work, are trying to do something really interesting and odd with each other, some sort of wild interspecies cosmic communication. I know that may sound a little overblown when you're trying to write marketing content for your business, but good writing is magic, even when it's marketing, because you're finding a way to convey who you are through words on the screen. I think that's magical, and I love the idea of treating it as a birth and not a fight, because it makes it feel a lot more wholesome. And something I've learned is if you treat writing like an enemy, it'll behave like one, kind of like a person in real life. If you treat someone like an enemy, they're going to act like you in a different way. So what's the moral of the story? You're going to see all of these perfect polished posts. You're going to see my nicely written blog, and you're going to get overwhelmed by them or intimidated by them sometime. Guess what? Everyone runs the bases. Everyone goes first, second, third, fourth. They all started out as scribbled notes, scratched out pencil, and shitty first drafts. If writing is hard for you, that's not weird. It's normal. It's a part of the way we're made up, how we've evolved, how we try to take care of ourselves. It's a hard task, but it can be made easier. And you can, whenever it does get hard, take these tips, apply them, just take these 7 things, whip them out. And when you hit these normal walls, because I hit them too, that's why I have this list, because I've gone through all of it personally, use these. Get back into it. Sneak in the side door, whatever it is you got to do. But don't feel like writing has to be the enemy or this terrible thing. It is hard, but think of it more as a birth than a battle. It will really change your perspective. And mostly, I just want you to get back to writing your content, because that's how the world will get to know you, how the world will hire you, how you'll get to make the world a better place through your business. So that's where all of this is coming from. Anyway, I think I kept it shorter this time. I can work on making it a little bit shorter, I guess. But anyways, I hope that helps. I hope this helps. Oh, Chat Sony, I'm so glad it helps. Again, I've got the link to the blog in the description of this video. You can go there. I have some tools linked there, like Scribbler and things like that, that can be helpful, like a list of copywriting tips. So more details are in there. I wanted to keep this a little bit shorter for you guys. That's my goal, is to start giving you more detailed posts and shorter videos. Anyways, I'm gonna let you guys go. I I have so much stuff to do for Kilimanjaro, but I will be here one more time before I go, and I will talk to you guys later, all right? Have a good day. Bye.